Steve Chaggaris joins me in our Washington studio to talk more about the impeachment, where we go from here. He's a political journalist and commentator. Steve, welcome to our program.
Thanks.
So was Sondland's testimony the bombshell the Democrats were looking for?
If you ask the Democrats, absolutely. I think what they were looking for was an opportunity to tell Democrats who might have had questions about this whole process to say, look, this is a guy that's close to he's a first-hand witness to all of this. He comes in front of the committee and says there was a quid pro quo, and the president was the one who directed it. And so that, I think, what it does is solidifies the Democrats as they move forward in terms of their process about writing articles of impeachment. They can now say, look, the president abused his power, the president tried to extort or bribe the Ukrainians, and it's all right here in front of you. Now, Republicans, as you just heard, are saying, well, wait a minute, the president didn't actually say this. The Republicans keep changing their tactics and how they defend the president on this, but they are trying to inject some wiggle room here for Republicans to take some political cover and say, maybe this isn't an impeachable thing. Maybe this is a horrible thing for the president to do. But you tell me what the president is accused of doing that is impeachable here, and then maybe we'll join up. But right now, the lines are drawn. Democrats look at this and they say, we are moving full steam ahead and we're very excited about what happened today, and Republicans are still shrugging their shoulders and saying it's not that much.
Well, what do you make of what President Trump had to say? You know, we've seen this before, trying to distance himself from people who may not say the nicest things about him at the end. This guy, Sondland, gave his election committee $1 million. Is it possible to get that kind of money from someone and not really know them that well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty expected, what we hear from the president whenever anybody comes out and says something negative about him. He says, I don't know them, or I'll say some bad things about them. I think in this case, it's hard to completely trash this guy because he's still serving as his ambassador to the EU.
Well, that was my next question. Do you think he's going to keep his job?
Well, long term, I doubt that's going to be the case, but I think short term, he can't really do anything about it because it wouldn't look very good, would it?
So, Steve, where do we go from this point? Will this really move the needle? For all the people who voted for this president, do they care about this hearing? And even if the House votes to impeach Donald Trump, then what?
So for the people who voted for the president, no, they don't care about this hearing, and they think this whole process is a witch hunt and it's all a hoax and it's all just drummed up by the Democrats to go after this president. So we're not really looking at them. We're also not looking at the folks that are supportive of the Democrats on this, because their view is not going to change based on what's happened. We're looking at the people in the middle. And as we see in terms of public opinion, it is split on whether the president should be removed from office because of all of this stuff. So will Gordon Sondland's testimony today change that? It's hard to see how one witness is going to do that. He doesn't have a smoking gun like they did in Watergate against Richard Nixon. And I think you could also make the argument that the charges against this president aren't nearly the same as what was being alleged about Richard Nixon at the time. And so it's a harder thing for people to digest. It's gone on a really long time. The hearings aren't being watched by a ton of folks. It's not like people are sitting around the TVs in the hundreds of millions.
Journalists are in Washington,
well,
that's
of course,
for sure.
Of course. And then in terms of processing this information, people have their own places to go. There aren't just 3 or 4 news networks to go watch the news anymore. It's Fox News or MSNBC. And so to see that needle moving because of one day of testimony, it's hard to see.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve Chaggaris. We appreciate it.